Hello and welcome to another video. In today's episode we are going to be configuring and customizing our DWM installation on Arch Linux. So in this series we are taking a deep dive into the Arch Linux installation, and it's not going to be any different with DWM. So we are going to be discussing on how to properly customize DWM on Arch Linux. So let's jump into it. Now, previous episodes we already installed Arch Linux on a virtual machine and installed the most important components for the graphical user interface. So today we are going to be customizing this interface and add a screen locker to our system. So when it comes to DWM, we have to do all the customization in the source code and recompile it. So for example, to change the key bindings, you have to modify this config.h. and to add some additional functionality. So in big desktop environments like in GNOME, for example, you have all those extensions that you can just load, and your desktop environment functionality will be extended. Or on Cinnamon, you have this Cinnamon spices and things like that. But in DWM, you don't have any of those. You have to add your new functions directly into the source code. And there are many additional functions or functionality that you can add that have been done by someone else, and there are patch files that will contain what has to be modified in the source code. And on Arch Linux, the beauty of all this is that we can just modify our PKGBUILD script to apply these modifications automatically and include these new functionalities in our window manager automatically when rebuilding the package. Sometimes we need to install third-party software to extend the functionality of DWM, and sometimes we will have to write our own script to do that. But in today's video, we are not going to do this last thing here. We are not going to write any scripts. In today's agenda is that we are going to change a few key bindings. This is one of the things that many people like to customize in their desktop environments or window managers, to have like their own preferred customized key bindings. We are going to add in two new patches, just a new layout for our system Fibonacci and a focus on click extension, and I will explain the roles of these when we get to that part. And we are going to install a separate software, a third-party program to handle wallpaper and changing the wallpaper and like just setting the wallpaper in DWM, and we will also install a screen locker. I also have to go into a quick aside. So if I go to my virtual machine here, you can see that today my virtual machine has changed its shape. It's a wide screen setup now, and I did that. If you want to just want to copy what I did, I used the xorg xr and r package to achieve that, and the xr and r command to set my display resolution. So if you are using QEMU, this probably will work for you, but also remember that if you have a multi-monitor setup, you will have to use XR and R to set up that properly, because DWM is a minimalistic system, so it doesn't have its own utilities for monitor setup. You will have to use this command line tool, but I don't want to make a this tutorial about XR and R, so that's why I did it off screen. But basically, if you just type in the XR and R command, you will find the name of your display here, and all the available resolutions will be here. So you can see with this asterisk here that this is the one we've chosen. And if I show you my Xinit RC, you can see that this is the line I have added here, which is changing the resolution or changing this output to this mode before starting DWM. So this is on a very high level. This quick aside for you, if you want to follow me on a virtual machine, this is what you should be able to do here. So changing key bindings. So we will have to go into the config.h file, and we can add additional, or we can change the mod key. So mod key is the key that you press when you want to tell the window manager that the next key press is something that you should be taking care of. And in the original version, we use mod 1 mask, which is the alt key. We can modify that mod 4 mask. This is, a lot of people like to use it. I also like to use it just to change it to the super key. And Well, we can, if we want to add different keys, then there is this file called keysimdef.h in the xorg package, which basically lists all the names of all the keys that you can use when adding new key bindings. And we can add multiple mod keys or by adding this new mod key, so you can use the super key for some of the things you want to do, and you can use alt key for some other things. So maybe you want to use the super key to start new programs, but then you are so much used to the alt tab combination on Windows to switch Windows that you also want to use alt tab. So then you will have to define a new mod key. We can use multiple key bindings for one action. So besides alt tab, you can just keep, I don't know, maybe Windows J and K to switch between the windows if you want to, and things like that. So let me just open back my virtual machine here. And if I show you my keyboard here, can you see my keyboard? And if I press Alt, Shift and Enter, there will be the opening of the new windows now, and the Alt, Shift, C is closing them. So you can see this is kind of the default setting. So let's just go into my DWM directory here and edit config.h. So this is what I was talking about, this mod key. Where is mod key? We have to find mod key. And yeah, here it is, define mod key mod 1 mask. So I can change it to mod 4 mask, and this will basically everything that is mod key is used in becomes the Windows key instead of the alt key. So here all this mod key was alt before, now it's all the super key or Windows key. Super key and Windows key are same, but yeah, we are on Linux, so we should say super key, I guess. And if I here go back and add another line and say define mod key 2 and mod 1 mask, then I can just use this mod key 2 if I want to use alt for something. So let's say I want to use alt tab to switch between windows, and you can see, where are we? This is focus stack J and K. So if I open a new window, and let's go back to my keyboard here. So now I can press the alt J and K to jump between these two windows. So I want to modify that. This will be like the Windows key and J and K in the modified version, but I also want to use alt tab here, for example. So let's copy this line, and instead of mod key and xkj, I will add here mod key 2, and this oh, I don't know what tab is. Yeah, well, I know what tab is because it's here, xk_tab. So let's change it, xk_tab. And yeah, mod key. All right, and maybe you also want to add alt F4 to be able to close a window instead of just the super key Shift C. So let's copy this line too, and instead of mod key Shift mask, let's modify it to mod key 2. And well, I need to figure out what the F keys are. So let me just jump to another place here, and I will have to, let's see, vim/usr/ what was it, include /x11 /ksimdef.h, and yeah, we need to scroll a lot here through all these comments. And here, okay, so here you can see like xk_tab, xk_pause, scroll lock, delete, escape, all these, everything is here listed. So you can see what is XK next, XK page up, prior, done, right, up, left, home. So these are kind of, if you want to use the cursor keys for some hotkeys, you can do that. And we also want keypad functions. I don't know what keypad functions are, but maybe that's the numerical keypad. Okay, so these are our function keys, so it's just XK underscore and F something. So let me change this to XK underscore F4. And now I can save my changes. Let's save and quit. So if you've been following this tutorial, then you know that in our previous episode, what we did is we are following our changes using Git. So I can just check my Git status here, and we can see that config.h have been changed, and I can say git diff config.h. So we can see what have changed, and we can say that we added 2 new lines, and we changed the mode key and things like that. I like to check the changes before I rebuild my system because I like to keep it clean. So for example, if you like move things around and lines are deleted and added at some other place, then it will be very problematic. So how do I say it? So when we are going to patch our system, and when we patch the system to add new functionalities, some of these new functionalities will require changes to our config.h file. And if our config.h file have been totally reorganized, it won't be able to automatically patch this. So they will cause us a lot of headache. So I think it is a good idea in general to keep. So of course you need to change the things you need to change. That is, there is no question about that, but try to just not move things around arbitrarily in your config.h if you want to make your life easier in the future. Or of course, one other way to do this is first add all your patches and only change your customization after you added all the patches you wanted. But you never know, because in the future you might come up with a new idea what patch you want to add. So you will maybe modify your system later, add a new patch, and in that time you want to make your life as easy as possible. You don't want to make your life harder for no reason. So let's now that we have changed all these things, we can just rebuild the package with the make package -if, no, just -if -clean command. And you can see that, nice, it's build, no problem, build has no problem, and we installed DWM. And of course, at this point, the configuration have not been changed, so I still need to use Alt-Shift-Enter to open a new window, because first I need to close my DWM session and then start X again. And now I press Ctrl-Alt-G. Ctrl-Alt-G is just for QEMU, so if you are using QEMU, you want to press Ctrl-Alt-G in this case. So all your inputs, so you cannot move your mouse outside here, and all your inputs will be going to QEMU. So if you press Alt F4 without doing this Ctrl-Alt-G, then your operating system will just close QEMU. But if you have QEMU to grab your inputs with Ctrl-Alt-G, it will change. So here up on the top of your QEMU, it will say QEMU, press Ctrl-Alt-G to release grab. And so now if I press, Windows, Shift, Enter to open a new window, I can press Alt F4 and it will close this window, and it does not close QEMU because this Alt F4 have been grabbed by QEMU. I hope it's clear enough. Anyway, so now you can see that it's not the Alt Shift, but it's the Super Shift Enter that opens a new window. And I can use my Alt tab that I got used to using Windows, and also can use J and K if I want to circle through all these windows here. Great. So we did that. And now that it works, we can go back to our DWM folder and git status. Yeah, so we need to save these changes. I don't want to do anything else at this time. I think we've did enough modifications to our basic setup at this point, so I will just git add dot to add everything that changed, and git commit -m key bindings customization, for example. And if I go back to git status now, nothing's changed. So if I will change anything anymore, then my git diff will be, so now it's empty because there is nothing changed to this latest status, the latest commit, and this will be what will the next changes be compared to. Alright, so we customized our key bindings. So let me go to our next point. We are going to be applying patches. First of all, you can do it many different ways. So we are trying to figure out a way to patch DWM in a way that is compatible with Arch Linux's philosophy. So we are not, building the software by ourselves and moving the binaries there by ourselves. We are using Pacman to do that, and for that we need to package the binary first. So we are, of course, doing the patching through the PKGBUILD script. And you can just add it to the source array just from the download link, because PKGBUILD is capable of downloading these files from the internet. But I think it's sometimes it's a better idea, or in general it's a better idea, just to download it directly. So you can download it with the curl command in the command line, or maybe if you already have a browser installed, you just download it from the browser and move it to the directory you want to use, and just add the file name to the source array. So if we go back to our QEMU here, and so the PKGBUILD file has this source array, and you can see that the source code is directly downloaded by this PKGBUILD script from the website. So we can do the same thing here, but I prefer to download it manually. And so for that we need to go to the website of the DWM website, and here you will have this patches link on the left. And well, there is a very long list of patches. You can just browse through this and figure out which one you might want to use in the future. And so I will be doing this Fibonacci layout and focus on click. So focus on click is very simple to demonstrate why I need it. So let me just open up a few terminals here. So you can see that if I start typing here and I move my cursor to some other window, the focus have been automatically moved to the window in which my mouse resides, which is not really ideal. Of course, if I type something and then I move using my keyboard, so now I Alt-tabbed, or you could use the, Super K and Super J to move through these windows. If I move there, then it doesn't matter that my mouse is here, but as soon as my mouse goes to another window, the focus is going there. Also, DWM is only coming with 3 different layouts. So this is our basic layout, which is there is a master, or we can increase with Super I the number of windows in the master, and then with Super D we can decrease the number in the master. We can change these key bindings in the future, but anyways, so this is the default. And there is the monocle view, which is Super M in our case, and we can Super T. This is the original view is Super T. Super M is like kind of a full screen view, and then we have also Super F, which if we open a new window, the new window will be appearing as a floating window, and if we press the Super key and move it, we can move this around. So let me show you again on my keyboard. So I'll press Super key while moving my mouse. and if I press Super T, we are going back to our tiled, and if I press Super M, we have like this full screen type of view, and we can use I guess Super H and Super L to change how much our main window takes up, and I and D changes. Okay, this is kind of the only one boring layout. A Fibonacci layout will be a little more good looking, I guess, and yeah, I focus on click is also very important, I think. So let's take a look at how to install these. So first of all, I want to grab the patch files using the curl command, and for that, let me go back to the website so you can just copy this link. First, we are going to just download these two files, and then we will worry about putting them into our the package build script later. So let's just try to copy this properly. So curl dash capital L and capital O. So these are the switches that we use. So if there is some kind of the redirection, that will be followed, and then the file name will be the original file name. And let me just type in https://dwm.sockless.org/patch-is/fibonacci-2000418-C82DB69.diff. So this is the newest version that I can find currently on the Sockless website, and I will get the newest version for the focus on click extension 2, and there will be patches/focus on click /DWM-focus on click -202101-61BB8B2.diff, and I hope I typed it correctly. Yes, so now ls-la, so you can see that we have these two diff files downloaded in our directory, and you can think about it if you want to add the diff files to your gitignore. I think if you download it directly and then just put the file into the package build, then I think it is a good idea to just keep the tracking on, so the diff files will be tracked, so we don't put them in gitignore. But if you download them through your package build, then maybe you want to add it to the gitignore. I don't add it to the gitignore because I might want to change them manually later, and then I want to track those changes. So we need to do the patching in the prepare portion of our package build script, and for that we will use this patch command. The patch command is basically opens this patch file, checks what modifications has to do to what file, and it will look for the files in this directory specified in the directory command, and will also strip one layer from the file name. So sometimes in the patch files the directory structure is also specified, not just the file name, but we only want to check the file names. So first of all, maybe you want to take a look at how a patch file looks. So maybe take a look at Fibonacci, and you can see that it will specify like this line have to be added to, so this is config.dev.h will be modified, this line have to be added, this line have to be added, this line have to be added. So these are like what lines have to be added will be specified with these plus signs. It's a very simple format, it's text-based format. So this is how your patches come, and this is why you have to keep your own files as clean as possible, because you can see that if it doesn't, the patching algorithm doesn't find these in this order, it would have a very difficult time to figure out where to insert these lines, if you understand. Alright, so let's go back to our package build file, and we will need to add these to our source array. How should I do that? Maybe I don't want to just type in these things, so what I will do is ls *.diff. Yeah, we can just do this and then double redirect to package build. So if I do this and I go back to vim package build, I will have the file names here at the end, and I can just cut these two lines and paste them right under here, and maybe I will tab them in. So now I have all these 4 files here, and I only have the checksum for 2 of the files, so I need to add the new checksum. So first I need to save and quit, and once I've saved and quit, this will be make pkg-g is what generates the new checksums. So let's just redirect it into the package build file 2. And so vim, so let's edit package build, let's go back to the end here, and let's cut these let's cut these 4 lines, not just 1 line. And once we cut these 4 lines, we put them under the source array here, and I can delete these 2 lines here. And now we have the 4 files that we will have to use for building the package and the checksums. Great, now we have to go to the beginning of the prepare function. First I will show you, if you only have like a one patch file to add, which, you know, is not really likely but might happen, then you can just use this patch --strip equals 1 and --directory equals and what is this, quotation mark $_ source dir, and let's not forget that source dir was defined by us, and we want something to be redirected into this, and that will be the file something.diff. Is it just 1? Yeah, I think it's just 1 sign. I probably did a mistake in my presentation there. Let's start with focus and click, for example. So I want to copy this file name and let's paste it here. Oops. Okay, let's delete this. Okay, so we will use the DWM-focus and click diff file to do this patching. And let's just save the package build. Let's just quit here. And let's try make package.if -clean. Alright. So you can see that there is some error, but what is important is that the patching is completed. So we patched using the config.dev.h and we patched dwm.c. So both of these files have been modified, and the build failed for some reason, but that is going to be fixed very easily. So it's an undeclared function. If you can guess, probably. Can you guess what the issue is? You can try. But anyways, I'm not going to tell you. Let's just go back to our package build file and let's just do what do we need to do when we want to patch more diff files. So it is a good idea, I think, not to just patch one by one, but instead we can just get all the diff files that we have, just concatenate them into just one large patch file, and then just do one patch command and do that. So my rationale, and I'm not 100% sure that this is the good thing to do, but my rationale is that what if these patch files have some kind of minor conflict, and if you patch the file first with one of the patches, then patch the file with another patch later, maybe the file have already been modified in a way that is not, the program cannot resolve automatically. And maybe if I just patch, all these patches are submitted to the patch program at once, maybe it can. I'm not sure, I did not check the documentation on this. This is all in my head, but this is my rationale, and also because then I don't have to type in all the diff file names separately. I can just concatenate all the diff files together and pipe them into the patch command. So I just find it more elegant, more simple, and I kind of maybe just justified it in my head afterwards. So what we want to do is we want to delete the end of this here, and instead of that we will just type in cat *.diff and the pipe symbol, and we have strip1 and the directory is all the same, so we can save and quit and make package if clean. Oh, there will be an issue here now. There will be an issue because the build have failed. So because the build have failed, we already have this package and the source directories. Let's remove them before we rebuild. This generally can cause a problem with the patching because you want to patch something but it's already there. It's better just to remove these two directories and then do the make package command. You can see that all these, the patching was successful, so the modification of the source code worked, but the build have failed because there is something that was not defined. Okay, so what we can see here is the config.dev.h file have been modified, and the config.dev.h file is basically used as the default settings. And you copy that to the name config.h, and you use the config.h as your own personal file that contains the customization. But this is not just a file that contains, it's not like what is it called? Not like a configuration file that only contains configuration. This is part of the source code. So the source code has been modified and requires something to be defined in this config.h. So some people will tell you that you should just ignore and you should not make a config.h, you should just modify config.dev.h, and because then the new patches will just automatically patch that and that will be good. But I don't think that's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to keep config.dev.h as the default, and we just have to modify our own config.h file based on that. And this is where Git comes into play here. So if I just type in git status, then you can see that besides our package build file that we just modified, and beside these two new files that we have just added, we also have modifications to the config.dev.h, because in the beginning when we did this package build script, we made sure that if the default config.dev.h after creating the source code or unpacking the source code, and now after unpacking and patching the source code, we made sure that this default configuration have been copied back to this directory. So let's check what is the change in that file by typing in git diff config.dev.h, and you can see static const focus on wheel, so a new constant have been added, and also these other things have been added here, so like include the Fibonacci.c and then add these new symbols for these new layouts, and then adding new mod keys for these. And what we want to do is we want to add these very same changes to our own customized config.h. And so yeah, here if in my slideshow I should have told you this before, but the builds might fail because it is possible that a necessary line in the config.h is not present that should be there, and it is in the config.dev.h, and maybe the patches conflict in some way. Then that we can see that there will be an error in prepare, so that will give us a different type of error. And so this one is very easy to solve, and if there is like a conflict in the patches, then there are things that will require some manual tinkering. So maybe you can just try to apply patches one by one and use git diff or some kind of the diff command to figure out how to make like a one unified patch. So instead of having two conflicting patches, you will have to kind of reconcile the two and maybe just make one patch file for these two changes together. Okay, so the configuration changes, we will use the git status we just did, and we can use this git diff not just to take a look at what have changed, but we can use the git diff command to get these changes and apply these changes to our other file. So we want to apply the changes that have been made to config.dev.h to config.h, and this is the command we will be using. And if this patch fails, then, maybe we screwed around with our key bindings for too long and we might have to edit the config.h manually, but based on this git diff of the config.dev.h, we will have a much easier job than if we just had to figure out without it. Yeah, we need to remove src and package directories before attempting to rebuild the package. So let's just do what I told you and get this git diff and pipe it into patch --strip equals 1 config.h. Patching has been successful, and we can just check git diff config.h, and you can see that config.h have been modified same way as the config.dev.h have been previously. So let me list the directories or the contents of this directory, and let's remove package and src here, and then let's make the new package. And the patching is successful and the build is successful, and we are going to install the new version with pacman, which is great. And now we can exit from DWM and start X again, and let's see how things work out. So let me just open a lot of new windows here, and let me try the, what is it, Windows R key. Yeah, you can see Windows R and Windows Shift R will have these two new layouts, and Windows T will come back to the old layout. And now you can see that if I move my mouse, the focus does not change, only if I click. So patching has been absolutely successful. We did a great job. So we can just, I guess, close all these windows and go back to our DWM folder. And yeah, we change all these things, package build, configs. Oh, we have a config.h.orig, which was, what is that? That is probably just the unmodified config.h file. We don't need that because we already have Git to take care of our changes, so we don't have to save the changes to a different file. So let's remove that. Right, we have package build, the config files and the diff files. And so let's git add. So we add them, and then git-m patched Fibonacci layout and focus on click. This will be my, git commit. I forgot the command here, git commit. And if I go back to my git log, you can see that we have added the new patch, and then Before that we had the customization, and before that initial configuration and initial modifications. So Git takes care of all of these things. Alright, so now that we managed to patch our DWM in the correct archway, there is something we can do to make our system look a little better. Maybe we want to have wallpapers, so we will install the official Archinix wallpaper pack, and this FAH, I don't know what's the correct pronunciation for it, I will just call it FAH, which is kind of a image viewer and background or wallpaper application. So let me just go through with it if I find my virtual machine again. So let's just go back to our home directory, and let's sudo pacman-s arch linux-wallpaper. Yeah. Well, I could have just installed it together with FAH. I don't know why I did this way, but anyway, sudo pacman-s FAH, and let's install that too. So we can use pacman to list the new wallpaper files. Pacman-ql arch linux-wallpaper will give us a list of all the files that we can use. Maybe let's go to the other tag here to use this, and we can use the fah-bg-fill and file name to change the wallpaper, and we can also set it in our xinit-rc, so whenever the DWM is loaded, this wallpaper will be loaded, or we can just use this directory and randomize, and so every time we start up our system, it will get a random wallpaper from this Archinix package. So let's do just like that. Let me find a... So it's USR share background, Archinix is where it is. So fah-bg-fill /usr/share/ no, not Wayland, what was it? Backgrounds, not wallpaper. Backgrounds Arch Linux, and let's see, awesome.png. And now if I go to an empty tag, you can see we have this awesome wallpaper. How great it is. We can go and do maybe let's take a wild. There's a wild.png there. Yeah, this is very wild. Okay, so we can vim.xinit-rc, and let's just fah-bg-fill and --randomize, I guess. Yeah, randomize, and /usr/share/background/arch linux/asterisk. USR share backgrounds, there is an S there. Arch lin UX, that's how Linux is written, I guess. Let's see what happens if I quit and start X again. Yay, we got a new background, and if I quit again and start X again, we got a new background. Great. How good this is, very good. Alright. And last thing, screen locker, very simple. We're just gonna use the fizlock from the repositories, which can be, we can just give the fizlock command to lock our screen. How does it work? Well, I'll go back to QEMU and I will go to the floating mode. So when I open a new window, it doesn't cover this whole beautiful background. So sudo pacman-s physlock, give a password. Did I make a mistake with the password? Okay, I cannot type in 1234 correctly. Let's install physlock. And now if I say physlock, then I get to this very, very empty screen where I can type in my password and then get back to it. You can see that I tried once and there was some problem, so you can see multiple physlock comments there. Anyways, that's what it is, and we can just, add a very simple modification to DWM's config.h to make a shortcut to lock the screen, so we don't have to type in physlock every time we want to lock the screen. And we can just add a key binding to it in our config.h. So let's just do that. cd, I need to cd into my DWM directory and then edit my config.h. And can I change the... Wow, come on. Oh yeah, I can change with the right mouse click, I can change the size. So I press down the super key and near the edge and press the right mouse button and I can change the size. How great this is, I don't know. Anyways, let's go up. What we need to do is we need to add another of these kind of command lines. We have only the D menu and the ST, which is our terminal. We didn't really use D menu at all. D menu is like, Windows P, I guess. Yeah, and then on the top we can physlock there too. And it locks the screen the same way if we just gave the command from the command line. Anyway, that was D menu, but let's copy this line and paste it here. And this will be not the term command, we will modify it to, we will modify it just screen lock. Yeah, screen lock will be the name for it. What? Screen lock? No, we need an S here. Screen lock. So screen lock, and then the command will be physlock. So physlock will be our screen lock command, and this is good because if we want to use a different screen locker tool than physlock, we can just change the command here, but we will have the same, I guess, same command. So what we can do is we can maybe copy this line, paste it down here, mod key, and I will add the L. So this will be the letter L, and it will spawn the screen lock command. So now if I press the Windows key with the letter L, it will lock my screen. But first, for that, I need to save and quit, and also, well, I can always check my git status and git diff. Yeah, and then I can just make package-if-clean and 1234 install, and let me close this session and start X again. Our new background, and now showing up my keyboard again. So let me lock the grab here, and if I press the L key and the under screen grab, there is some issues here with the screen recording, but you can see that it threw me to my password screen, so I have to type in the password and get back. So I guess this is it. I think everything was done that I promised to do in this video. Yeah, this is the end of the presentation even. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. We did do some work with customizing our DWM and added patches. We have now beautiful background and we also have a screen locker. So I guess yeah, this is it for today's video, and there will be other videos because we will be customizing other things. Maybe I will do something to add transparency to our terminal so we can see the background while we are working in the terminal. And I will also do a video on patching in a little more detail where we are going to do a case study of what we can do when two patches conflict and we have to make our own modified patches. And that will be a separate video. This video is already very long. If you have any questions about the topics that we've covered today, just, find the comment section down below and I will try to answer all your questions. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video, and if I earned you a subscription, then you can subscribe, ring the notification bell if you want to get notified about new tutorials and rants about Arch Linux and free software and other related topics. And thank you for watching my video on customizing DWM, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.